Professor, I understand that you were looking to speak with me. Perhaps you would like some insight on how to write your next lecture? While I do have a great many ideas, it would be inappropriate to... Oh, am I mistaken? If that's the case, then what can I do for you? The ladies have complained? To you? About me? Preposterous. There must be some mistake. I am the heir of the noble House Gloucester. It is bred in me to treat all people with respect. Rest assured, you will not find anyone more upstanding than yours truly. Perhaps the issue is that the splendor of my noble presence is driving the ladies to distraction. If that is the crime, I do confess. I hope I've not troubled the ladies' hearts unduly. Outrageous! That's absurd! Who would dare to allege such slander? Of all the... Well, I suppose I have offered several of them the honor of dining with me. It is impossible to tell if even the most well-bred young lady is a suitable companion for me, merely by the sight of her. So, in order for us to get to know each other properly, it is appropriate that we dine together. Thus far, they have all declined, oddly enough. For some reason, they seem to be exercising some form of restraint when speaking with me. I would never insist, of course. But I will admit I have, on occasion, after a day's pause, issued repeat invitations in the fashion and style of a gentleman. What? Ridiculous! Dinner invitations for me a problem? The very idea. I am a perfect gentleman, the son of a noble line. I've a wit like a rapier, and it takes but a glance to see that I'm gorgeous. No, I cannot believe such a thing. Are you sure this isn't the result of some sort of scheme? It cannot be otherwise. Someone has clearly devised a conspiracy against me. Someone who envies my position, who seeks to soil my sterling reputation with foul rumors. How crude. Please, Professor, it is beneath you to fall victim to such petty and obscene tactics. I implore you to take greater care in the future. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a great deal of work to do. Farewell. Professor, have you been looking for me again? I am very busy, you know. I must insist that disruptions for light-hearted chats of this kind be kept to a minimum. What did I tell you about falling victim to such salacious and slanderous rumors? As I've told you, there is obviously a conspiracy against me. There is no manner in which I could possibly be considered bothersome. Professor, I assure you, you have been deceived. My adversary has poisoned the hearts of these ladies against me. The plot goes deeper than I thought. All right, let's not get carried away. Please understand, Professor. I am not some scoundrel out for conquest. I am attempting to fulfill my duty as heir of House Gloucester. It is my responsibility to continue our noble line by finding a suitable lady to be my wife. It is a rigorous process. My family has the very highest standards for appearance, grace, temperament, and pedigree. Typically, yes, even if others are sometimes critical of that notion. For the nobility, marriage is not merely a union of individuals, it is also a union of families. It would not benefit House Gloucester to be tied to a family of powerless commoners, would it? To achieve supremacy, it is necessary for my line to be tied to that of an influential family. That is the best path to peace and prosperity for all of Fodlan. So as you can see, the fate of the whole world rests upon my shoulders. If it is a burden, it is one I am all too familiar with. We nobles are born to this duty. That being said, to avoid misunderstandings, I shall restrain myself until things calm down. I would rather not cause trouble for you after all. well met, Professor. I trust that you have not had any complaints about me lately. Do you find it concerning that I've ceased making advances toward the ladies? I've decided that it would be inappropriate for me to continue my search for a spouse while we are at war. I expect that means you will not be receiving any more complaints. I hope that puts you more at ease. Actually, the introspection I've gained setting aside my search has motivated me to amend my conduct. Not the phrasing I'd choose, but you're not wrong. Selfishly pursuing my own desires caused me to behave inconsiderately. For instance, it was arrogant and rude to invite ladies to dine with me purely to evaluate them. Our experiences in battle have also given me cause to doubt certain preconceptions I once held. Previously, I had considered it a requirement for my future spouse to come from a noble line. I once thought that commoners lacked the power to influence the wider world, as history might suggest. To find a commoner who made a real impact, one has to look all the way back to Nemesis. That was my belief at any rate. But I realized that I've actually had an influential commoner right in front of me all along. Don't you see? I'm referring to you. You may wield the power of a crest, but you are so much more than just that. You have managed to charm everyone around you, to compel them to trust and follow you. Though you may not realize it, that is no mean feat. It is altering the course of history in Fodlan. Your example puts my prior beliefs to shame. I appreciate the kind words. I have always sought to embody the ideal of nobility. That, at least, is a goal I continue to stand by. But now I know that bloodline alone is not sufficient to gauge a person's worth. I've learned much of this from you. You are humble and open-minded, despite your power and skill. That is why I, at least, find you so charismatic. Perhaps that is the wrong way to say it. What I mean is that you set an admirable example. I can only hope someday to be your equal. Of course, you had better keep an eye on me, because I can achieve anything I set out to do. For I am none other than the handsome and talented Lorentz Elman Gloucester.
Professor, are you here to train? I knew it! Gotta train daily. Legs, back, chest, arms, abs. Gotta work them all, right? I just finished training, and I feel great. Check me out. Are my muscles bulging? Another day of training, and my muscles are ready to burst. Bulging muscles means strength. I have to be strong if I want to be a proper knight. And I have to eat if I want to keep training. Time to feast. Way to hit me where it hurts, Professor. I know I'll be in trouble if I don't train my brain, too. Anyone who can't get tactics can't be a proper knight. It's just, I'm no good at remembering that kind of stuff. And training my brain instead of my body makes me sleepy. What if I start training twice as hard? Then I should only have to study half as much, right? You really think so? I can't let that happen. I guess I have no choice. I'll prove I can do it. Wish me luck, Professor. For my training and for my studies. Great timing, Professor. I was just going to come find you. Are you busy? I have a question about formations. I don't understand them at all. Are the speed of battle and the terrain connected somehow? There's too much to memorize. I don't? Then what do I have to know? I think I understand the basics. To start, you just... Ah, okay. I think I've got it. Thanks for the help, Professor. Brains and brawn. You've really got it all. With your help, I should have no trouble becoming a proper knight. Huh? Didn't I tell you? My parents were merchants of the Alliance. They died in an accident. That's why it's up to me to look after my little sis. I'm not great with bookkeeping, so I don't think I'd make a good merchant. I talked to Grandpa, and he suggested I become a knight. So I sold all our valuables and used the money to pay my way into the academy. My sis won't survive if I get kicked out, so I can't give up now. I might have tried being a mercenary if I didn't have my little sis to look after. I probably shouldn't say this, but being a mercenary does sound like an easier life. Mercenaries have no responsibilities and no one else to worry about. But someone's got to take care of my little sis, so that's out of the question. Serving as a knight in a noble house is more secure, and you don't have to worry about dying unless there's a war. My sis has been through so much. I don't want her to have to worry about me. Hey, do you have any siblings, Professor? Then you probably think I'm missing out on my freedom, having to support her, huh? But working hard for my sister isn't too bad. Call it a burden, call it a challenge. If it makes my sister happy, I'm happy too. You should ask your father to have some more kids. Anyway, that's why I've got to become a proper knight. Hey, Professor. I think you've been working too much lately. The battle's gonna keep going with or without you, but you're the one doing the most out there. It's real impressive how you can focus on giving orders and fighting. I don't think I could do both in the same battle. I see you running all over the place, even after the battle's over. I just don't want you to wear yourself out. You gotta take a break when you can, even when you're feeling fine. It could suddenly hit you. No offense, Professor, but don't you think some folks might be taking advantage of you? Like when you gave that speech to the troops. That didn't seem like something you wanted to do. I know you gotta follow orders on the battlefield, but you shouldn't have to do things off the battlefield if you don't wanna. What do you mean? Like studying? Sure, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but that was to keep my little sis fed. I had good reason for it. The same, huh? I think I get what you mean. You do things you don't want to do for the sake of everyone else. That's real noble of you, Professor. I guess I can't get in your way if you're doing it for the right reasons. Okay then. I'm gonna keep trying to do my best. But now, I'm gonna do it for you. My little sis is important to me. But you're real important too. I always work hard for the people who matter to me. And having more of them in my life just means I gotta work even harder. What do you think? Really? I wasn't expecting you to say that. You're gonna make me blush. We gotta keep working hard together then. At least until this war's over. I'll work to make sure you don't collapse from exhaustion. You got nothing to worry about, Professor. I've been training non-stop. I got your back, no matter what.
Okay, I've decided on the composition. That's right, the composition for my next paint. Wait, Professor? How long have you been standing there? You haven't been watching me, have you? No, I misspoke. Did I say painting? I meant to say, Well, I've thought for a while that it might be nice to paint the scenery here. The contours of that tree, set against the stark shapes of the faraway peaks. Of course, I only paint after I've finished my chores. I'd never put my art before my responsibilities. My studies are paramount. I shall always uphold my duties as a student of the Officers' Academy, whereas art is a hobby of mine, you might say. Everyone has hobbies, right? I'm sure you have one. Oh, well, perhaps it's different for you, Professor. But it's perfectly normal for people to have hobbies. Reading, for instance, or fishing, or taking midday naps. For me, it's making art. Hobbies are healthy. They're a good way of relieving stress. You might consider taking up a hobby, Professor. Anything to clear your mind. Think about it. It's much easier to focus if you're feeling refreshed. There isn't a rule against hobbies, is there? If you tell me to stop, I'll stop. I shall never again put brush to canvas. Really? It's okay for me to paint? Well, I mean, if you're sure. But really, it's nothing more than a little diversion, a frivolous pastime. I think I ought to go back to my quarters now, if it's all the same to you. All right, time to sneak off and do some painting. Professor, such lovely weather today, huh? I was, just about to go for a walk. What, this? No, it's, I'm sorry, Professor. I'll admit it. I was going to do some painting. You remember the place where we talked before? I've been painting the scenery there. I'm still keeping up with my academics and training, of course. I just paint in my spare time, as a change of pace. Oh, you're not? Ah, well, yes, I suppose you're not. I may have gotten ahead of myself. I'm sorry for panicking there. Honestly, I'm just worried that my father will find out that I've been painting. Of course. Why would you go out of your way to tell him that? Completely illogical of me. But it seems I've developed a bit of a complex about it. My father's not a fan of my artistic pastime, you see. We're a merchant family, and my older brother is set to inherit the business. As for me, my father decided I should be a knight. That's why I'm at the academy. Painting won't help me become a knight. It's a waste of time. Well, yes. I feel like I'm betraying my parents. I hear the business has been slow for them over the past few years. If I become a knight for an influential noble house, I could use my connections to help support them. My father was determined to send me here. He must have been, considering the enormous amount of money he spent. I don't think I'm well suited to being a knight. My parents sent me to the academy for their sake, not my own. When I think about how hard my family is working just to stay in business, how can I sit idly by? All of which is just to say that painting will have to remain my little hobby. Nothing more. Not that I could make a career out of it even if I wanted to. That's just a fantasy. How incredible. What a striking color. Ah, Professor, look at this stone. Such a brilliant blue. You don't normally find stones like this around here. I ought to grind it down. I wonder if it would still be the same color. to make pigment for my art. Good supplies don't come cheap. I prefer to make my own. Blue is especially expensive. How fortunate that I chanced upon this remarkable blueness. Oh, I'm sorry. There I go again, blathering on and on about painting. Oh, yes. But I know that I can get rather caught up in it and, enthusiastic. You know, Professor, no matter how impassioned I become about my art, you never hold it against me. One could argue that I'm better off preparing for our next battle. I am becoming a knight. Oh, Professor, please don't say things like that. I gave up on my artistic dreams long ago. To support my family, I will be a knight. That's that. No. I know it's the right thing to do. I'll continue with my art as a hobby. I don't think I could ever give it up. When I see something beautiful, I can't suppress the urge to paint it. I don't have a choice. And if my art can bring happiness to even one person, that's good enough for me. Professor, I have a favor to ask. I'm painting a portrait right now. When it's finished, I'd like to give the piece to you. Would you take it? Perhaps it can bring you a little happiness. That will have made the effort well worth it. Oh, excellent! Is that a promise? Because I'm really going to put my heart in it. That is, I'm going to enjoy partaking in this casual hobby of mine.
Honestly, what do they all take me for? I'm fine. Perfectly and completely fine. It's hardly different from daytime. I'm not scared. Ah! Ghost! Hang on. Professor? Is that you? Oh, well, good evening! Oh, I left something in the dining hall, so I'm on my way to fetch it. But you don't need to come with me or anything like that. I'm fine on my own, really. You weren't? Oh, apologies for making an assumption. The truth is, everyone I come across asks if I'd like some company. They all seem to think I'll be scared wandering alone at night. So rude and presumptuous, you know. I'm perfectly capable of being on my own. Hey, Professor, wait! I thought it might be nice to walk and talk together to the dining hall. Shall we? To be abundantly clear, this has nothing to do with my non-existent fear of ghosts. Oh, you must be bored. Fantastic, then. Do you mind, filling the void with some chatter? Some find silence to be a bit unsettling after all. Okay, I confess, I am scared of ghosts. The monastery is unnerving to me at night. So, can we talk about something, please? Anything. I've noticed for quite some time now, you treat all your students equally, don't you? You've never treated me differently simply because I'm younger than the others, and I've always appreciated that. Isn't it rather obvious? I'm roughly 2 to 3 years younger than the rest of the class. Have you just not been paying close enough attention to those you teach? That's poor form for a professor. Oh, there! I found what I was looking for. Well, I'd better be on my way now. Good night! Professor, thank you for helping me with my training. I'd love to do this again if possible. Your advice is always so useful. Everyone thinks you're a wonderful teacher. You account for people's weaknesses while capitalizing on their strengths. Initially, I wasn't sure you paid too much attention to your students. Clearly, I was wrong. After all, were that the case, you wouldn't be capable of providing such useful feedback. I'll continue to learn and grow from your instruction, Professor. I just know it. You think I'm determined? Professor, thank you. You're the only one who's ever praised me like that. I mean, people are always telling me I've got a knack for magic. If you can call the power of my crests a knack, they aren't wrong per se. Though bearing 2 crests isn't a gift I ever asked for. Anyhow, I've made a point to work harder than most and not rely too heavily on the power they bestow. So I find it frustrating that the only praise I seem to receive is directly related to that power. If you've noticed how hard I work, then, well, it makes me very happy. Well, you see, it is because I am the only child of House Ordelia. I must do all I can for my family name. I'm determined to someday be of real value to them, and that day must come soon. I can't waste any time. I don't have much of it left. Anyway, I should be going. Thank you again for your help. Thank you for helping me with my training again today, Professor. I'm gonna keep at it for a while longer, so you go on ahead. I can't. Not when I'm right on the cusp of using my power to greater potential. Surely you yourself are tired. Just don't worry about me, okay? I'm sorry, Professor. It was careless of me to continue, despite how fatigued I clearly was. I probably should have listened to you. Now I've made a mess of things. I can't help but feel the need to rush in all things constantly. You get that way when you realize you haven't got much time. 13 years ago, House Ordelia was involved in a civil conflict within the Empire. All we did was respond to a call for aid. We weren't involved politically. But once the rebellion was crushed, my family was held responsible for the aid we gave, and the Empire gained some sway over us as a result. At the time, the noble houses of the Alliance took a passive stance. No one lent aid to my family. As a result, some key officials within the family were killed, and people from the Empire were sent to replace them. Among those people were some mysterious mages. They were unsettling, in a word, skin pale as death. One after another, they captured and imprisoned the children of our household. They began performing terrible rituals on the children, though it's probably more accurate to call them experiments. With the Empire monitoring our every move, my parents could do nothing but watch in horror as all of this unfolded. One after another, the children died, until the only one left was me. You know, my hair wasn't always this color. During their experiments, they'd been doing things with my blood. One morning, I awoke like this, a shock of white hair, all trace of pigment gone. Upon seeing me, the mages were delighted. They realized that their experiments had finally succeeded. Sure enough, they ran a test and saw that 2 crests coexisted within me. Losing pigment from my hair wasn't the only loss. The mages informed me that my lifespan was now greatly shortened. 5 more years at most, perhaps less. Shortly thereafter, the mages lost interest in me, and we never saw them in the Ordelia household again. Since all that, our family has been in decline. It's challenging now even to govern our territory. After all my mother and father have suffered, I at least want them to have peace as they grow older. That is all I wish for, but I haven't much time to ensure it comes to pass. It's not like what's been done to me can be undone. Professor, the only way I can conceive of would be to remove my crest somehow. But I don't know if that's even remotely possible. Even if it were, I wouldn't be of much use to you and the others without my crests. You sound resolved. I'll allow your resolve to bolster my own. Thank you, Professor. Professor, We have. I can feel that the crests are no longer a part of me. That must mean my body will. Thank you, Professor. No matter the outcome, I feel a sense of peace. I have hope, and that hope will carry me through it all. You've done so much, searching for a way to remove my crest, to save me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I will not claim my title. House Ordelia will end with my father's generation. After this, I'm going to begin preparations for our family's dissolution. This will ensure that the people of our territory will not be troubled, and my parents will be able to live out their lives in peace. A good question. I hadn't considered it, but assuming I have life left in me, would it be all right if I came back here to stay by your side? Without my crests, I'm not sure what all I'd be able to do for you. But you have given me a new life. I want to use my time to support you however I can. Oh, is this is... What I said earlier about not caring what the outcome of all this is, I take it back. For the longest time, I didn't think I'd be around to be a part of the future you and everyone were creating, that I had no place in it. But now, I cannot fight it any longer. I do care, and I do not wish to give up on chasing that future. I do not wish to die. I refuse to give up on myself or on our future. And so, I promise to come back to you, no matter what. Once I'm back... Yes, I quite like the sound of that. Together, it is decided. We will be together forever, living long, full lives. Count on it, my love. Dear Goddess, I ask for guidance. Professor, I suppose you came by to pray too? I see. And that's why I'm here too. Oh, nothing specific. I only call upon the goddess to give thanks, or perhaps to ask for protection. Anyhow, I should be on my way. Okay. sorry. I don't really know what to say. I'm not very good at talking to people. The truth is, I didn't interact with people too often before I came here. Oh, no particular reason. I'm simply not very good at it. That's just how I am. Thank you. I'm sorry. You shouldn't waste your time worrying about me. Please, just ignore me. I, have to be going now. Goodbye, Professor. Professor? There's something I need to say. Thank you. How should I put this? I don't seem to be getting along with everyone. I don't contribute much either. Am I a nuisance to you, Professor? If so, I'll leave. Of course, my adoptive father may not understand, but if I must... Oh, my adoptive father is one of the new nobles of the Alliance. His territory is to the north. He was a distant relative who took me in after my parents vanished. He's blessed with great drive and ambition. Some may go so far as to call it avarice. He wishes to marry me off to a powerful noble. That's why he sent me to the academy. If I left now, I'm sure he'd have a strong opinion about it. Sorry, I strayed away from the topic. I'm not good at telling stories either. Good. I'm glad. So, as I was saying, are you sure I'm not bothering you, Professor? Oh, I'm so grateful to hear you say that. What I'm trying to say is, you should keep your distance. I'm more trouble than I'm worth. You only say that because you don't know the real me. I'm sorry, I have to go. Dear Goddess, I ask for guidance. Professor, you're always watching over me, aren't you? I've spent my entire life avoiding people. Speaking to others was so difficult for me, so I made a point to always be alone. Animals and the goddess were the only ones I could really open up to. Do you remember the time you asked what it was I prayed for? Yes, but that wasn't the case. Back then, I felt that my life served no purpose and that I was nothing more than a burden. In truth, I was begging the goddess to take me to her. That was my daily prayer. But now I fear the idea of dying and being left alone. I have friends who accept me for who I am now, in spite of my crest. And I have you watching over me. I finally learned to accept the kindness and warmth of others. It's because of you, Professor. Because of you, I've decided to live. I'm sorry to have worried you, but I'm all right now. Even if I'm separated from you or any of my friends, the memories I've made here will give me the strength to continue on. Oh, I'm sure I'll have the strength to move forward if we're together. I apologize for chasing after you. I really need to speak with you, but I can come back if now is not a good time. Thank you. You've always been so accepting of me. You've never rejected me for my flaws. You have given me the strength and courage to look forward to my future. But I won't know what to do with myself when the war has ended. When I'm gone, will I keep moving forward or back? Well, my adoptive father wants me to return home right away. Though he put all that talk of marrying me off to a powerful noble on hold. For now. Apparently, I'm being hailed as a hero back home. Can you imagine that? Me, a hero. And now my family wants me by their side so they can flaunt my new status about town. How silly. Even so, it is nice that my relationship with my adoptive father has improved. It is starting to feel as though I am a true daughter to him at last. No, I've been considering what would be the best course for my future, and... Well, here, please, won't you take this? I'm sorry for surprising you with this so suddenly. In truth, I've surprised even myself. It's unthinkable that someone who spent their entire life avoiding people could offer you a ring. But who I am now? It's all thanks to you. You've shown me a strength I didn't know I could possess. I wanted you to see how far I've come and how much I've grown. I guess I wanted you to see me show a little bravery. I'm not asking you to marry me here and now. That would be a bit much, perhaps. Maybe we can just think of this as a promise that you will always be in my heart. What? Really? You would want to marry me, even with all my flaws? You know, I'm stronger now, but I can grow even more if you stay by my side. I'll do everything in my power to support you, and I hope you will continue to support me as well. I love you so very deeply. Thank you for giving me the world.
Hey, Professor! What are you doing daydreaming in a place like this? It's lucky. As spacey as you are, you're always reliable in a pinch. Sure. Then what were you thinking about? It's hard to tell what's going on in that skull of yours. Your expression is always blank. Come on, smile! I was just playing around. Don't get mad. By the way, in the next battle, may I focus on logistical support? Off the battlefield, there's no use having a weakling like me in the middle of the action, and it would bring down morale if I were killed. Have you even seen me, Professor? Look at these noodly little arms. I should be cheering everyone on from the sidelines. It'll certainly improve the boys' morale, don't you think? Because even if I did, I would still be a weakling. My big brother is the type of person who's supposed to be on the battlefield. For me, it's just a waste of energy. It's pointless. Everyone's cut out for something different. The right person for the right task, you know? Please, Professor. Keep me off the battlefield, and maybe I won't tell everyone you were daydreaming. Hey, Professor. There are a lot of hardworking people here at the Academy, huh? Everyone focuses on training without even needing to be told. Maybe they think I must protect my friends, even if I have to risk my neck. What? I'm diligent? Everyone else is just excessively diligent. I don't understand why anyone would want to risk their life for someone else. When you die, no matter how you died, it's over. To me, it's more important to enjoy life. We only live once, after all. It's a waste to spend all your time working and being responsible, right? Well, no matter what people may think, I'm going to keep being me. So in our next battle, I'll support everyone from the sidelines. Aw, come on, please. How about I do something for you as a way of saying thanks? Oh, I know! I'll let you join me for dinner in the city. Everyone would be jealous, you know? They'd all love to spend time with me. Okay, just think on it. Professor, I asked to be on the sidelines. Why did you put me on the battlefield? You did protect me, so I guess I can't complain. Wait a second, you're hurt. Did that happen when you were defending me? Oh, I thought so. How could you be so reckless? Perhaps you'll say that that's what friends do. They look out for each other and save each other. But if I saw you getting attacked, I wouldn't risk my neck to save you. No, don't overestimate me. I don't know if I've told you this, Professor. I have a very impressive big brother. I'm not just saying that. He's strong, smart, nice. He's basically perfect. Before Claude turned up, people talked about him becoming the next leader of the Alliance. Anyway, my parents have high expectations for my brother, and he almost always meets them. No one expects anything of me. If something's even a little bit difficult, I find someone else to do it for me. That's what I've done my whole life. Of course! I can't stand the idea of not meeting someone's expectations. I know how people react when that happens. From watching my brother, I mean. People force their expectations on you, and then if you fail, they look so disappointed. Whenever that happens to my poor brother, he looks just devastated. So don't expect anything of me, please. That way, I can't disappoint you. You're stubborn. Okay, fine. Keep believing in me. I do want to support you and support my friends. I just don't want to let you down. Hey, Professor. What are you doing daydreaming in a place like this? I was doing the same thing, but still. I've been thinking, Professor. I worked hard to make it this far. All I wanted was to enjoy life, but so much for that. I had to go and become diligent, and it's entirely your fault. Yes, you believed in me even when I told you not to. When I failed, you encouraged me. You kept looking out for me. Being treated like that, well, it made me want to try harder. I've gone to such lengths for you, you know. What a pain. Ha! Does that mean I'm off the hook now? I guess it doesn't matter because peace is here. No more hard work. Let's celebrate. Aw, what? I thought the fighting was over. Does this mean what I think it means? Wow, If I accept, we'll be depending on each other for the rest of our lives. Your life's gonna be hard. You wanna lay that burden on me too? Here I thought I was free as a bird again. Don't you think this is a bit much? You're doing it again. overestimating me. And yet, I have no choice but to accept. It's all your fault again. This time, for making me fall in love with you. I do have one condition, however. Don't go thinking you can keep expecting things from me. A girl's gotta draw a line in the sand somewhere. From now on, I'm only going to do the things I want to do. So, say if I want to support you for the rest of our lives, I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll do the best I can. As for you, you had better keep taking care of me too. Got it? Well then, now that all of that is settled, I happily accept. Thank you for watching over me and believing in me. Let's keep doing that for each other for the rest of our lives.
Oh, Professor, are you training too? I was just about to finish up, but if you want to join in, I can stick around a while longer. Oh no, it's fine. Just do your thing. Don't mind me. Come on, don't be shy. Phew. I'm beat, but we're finally done. I was already training when you got here, and I finished right alongside you. Guess I outlasted you, huh? Speak for yourself. I'm always looking to improve. By the way, Professor, something I wanted to ask. Are you really Captain Gerald's kid? That's a pretty detached tone to take about your own family. What's your opinion of him, then? You must look up to him, at least. It doesn't sound like you really appreciate him. You didn't even know until you came here that he used to lead the Knights of Cerros, did you? If it weren't for him, you wouldn't be half the person you are now. You probably never even thought about how lucky you are. Oh, okay, this really bothers me. Listen up. I don't care if you're the teacher and I'm the student. I'm going to outshine you. I know you were some famous mercenary before you came here, but let me tell you something. I'm going to be better than you ever were. In fact, I'll surpass you in no time at all. So don't blink. You might miss it. Hey, Professor, got a minute? Look, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't mean to lose my temper. I was rude to you. I should have known better. Huh, I thought you might say that. In that way, you're just like Captain Gerald. You accept other people. You don't let petty details get under your skin. Well, when I was a kid, I kind of latched onto him. I've been calling myself his apprentice ever since. He spent some time in the village I grew up in. Actually, you weren't with him back then. Why not? Huh. Maybe he left you with a relative or something. Anyway, back then, Gerald's job was to deal with poachers. Well, they were bandits, but we called them poachers. Nobody in the village could stand up to them. But your dad, he took them on like it was nothing. I was so impressed. All I could think was how amazing mercenaries were. I'd lived in that tiny village my whole life, so to me, Captain Gerald was nothing short of a legend. So I went right up to him and I told him I was going to be his apprentice. He didn't stick around long after that, but he did teach me a lot while he was with us. Tactics, strategy, training routines, it was all so new and exciting. So after he left, I kept at it, kept training, just like he taught me.
Me too. I always planned to meet him again once I became a top-tier mercenary. But I'm just glad I got to see him, to thank him properly and all. I've spent my whole life working to become a great mercenary like your father. There were so many times when I wanted to ask his advice, but I couldn't. I just had to make do. That's how I've made it this far. Just hard work, all on my own. But then you come along. And it's like you don't appreciate Captain Gerald at all, or how lucky you were to have him around your whole life. Oh, it still really bothers me. You might be his kid, but I'm still his best apprentice. Got it? Hey, Professor, can we talk? I feel terrible about the last time we spoke. I was trying to apologize and just ended up losing my temper again. I'm really sorry. I figured you'd say that, but I still feel like an idiot. Somehow, I just have a hard time keeping my feelings in check around you. And I think if I don't just tell you what I'm thinking, we'll never be able to have a normal conversation. So, let me clear the air. I want us to, engage. Yeah, exactly. I know it's a sudden thing to ask, but I'm not going to feel settled until I know where I stand. Would you do that for me? Good. Don't hold back, okay? I want to see you at your absolute best. Phew. You got me. I'm completely outmatched. No, don't apologize. This is what I needed. You're a true successor to Captain Gerald's style of swordplay. I almost felt like you were him. I thought I was competing with you. But that's as pointless as competing against him would have been. So instead of that, I'm going to focus on keeping the promise I made to him. Captain Gerald said that if anything should happen to him, I'd have to support you in his place. He didn't sound serious at the time, but it was right before before we lost him. So I've decided I'd like to do just what he said. I know I'm not as strong as I need to be, but I swear to you, I'll train until I am. What do you say? Can I call you my employer? Yes, it's official. I'll protect you no matter what. Professor? What are you doing here? I was talking to Gerald. The sky feels so close, like you can almost touch the stars. I thought my voice might reach him. That the war's finally over. And that his kid and his greatest apprentice did an amazing job out there. Maybe I'm overselling the part I played. Thanks, but I was nothing compared to you. I feel like an idiot for ever thinking I could surpass you. I have managed to keep my promise, though. So, how would you feel about hiring me again? Can't exactly go and break my word now, can I? The war's over, but the enemy might still be lurking. What if they're waiting until I'm gone to attack you? But, oh, I get it. You're probably pretty tired of me always trailing after you, huh? Love? As in the way a commander loves his soldiers, right? Of course that's what you mean. Oh, that's that kind of love. Can this really be happening? You want to marry me?
Of course I will. You are being serious, right? That would be an awful joke. I'm sorry. I should have been more honest. All that stuff about my promise a minute ago, it was mostly just an excuse for wanting to be near you. But I'm not really the romantic type, so I had a hard time coming out and saying it. Are you sure this is what you want, though? I know I'm not exactly conventional. Guess I'm really wearing this ring then, aren't I? But I do still have a promise to keep with Captain Gerald, too. You've got a big job ahead of you, building a whole new Fodlan. I'm going to support you through all of that. Make sure it never gets to be too much. Then that's that. I promise to protect you until death parts us. And I'll be happy for you to do the same for me.
Ah, there you are. I apologize for calling you in so suddenly. Please, sit. There is a matter I would like to discuss with you. I believe I've told you this before, but it is my responsibility to aid the Archbishop in all her duties. Spiritual instruction, ceremony oversight, donation management, all of the Church's many administrative tasks. I oversee not only the Priesthood, but also the Knights of Cerros and the Officers' Academy. The Archbishop entrusts a great deal to my discretion, and I am honored by her confidence. Even when she must make decisions herself, she often seeks my counsel in advance. And yet, your appointment to a teaching position at the Officers' Academy was a complete surprise to me. You should be fully investigated at a minimum before being trusted with such a responsibility. But no such investigation has been conducted. I know you are skilled in war and in matters of strategy, but beyond that, I know next to nothing about you. That is indeed what it comes down to, if I'm being honest. Please understand that I mean no offense. First, I would like to know just how much you know about yourself. You are the child of Gerald Eisner, correct? That's quite a vague reply for such a basic question. In the future, I would advise you to answer such queries with confidence. As the former captain of the Knights of Cerros, Gerald is renowned throughout Fodlan. If you really are his child, then no one would voice any complaint about you joining the Knights. How long has it been since you became a mercenary? Given your youth, that hardly seems likely. Come to think of it, I have never asked your age. Just how old are you exactly? Your face says it all. You truly don't know, do you? Just what was Gerald thinking, raising you this way? Given your responses thus far, I feel as though any further questions would just be a waste of our time. However, permit me to make one thing clear. Whatever her reasons, the Archbishop has placed great faith in you. Do not betray that trust. That is all. Professor, a moment? I am sorry that I doubted your ability. I deeply regret ever holding such a view of you. It is obvious to me now that you are extraordinary. Do you doubt your own power, even now? I suppose that's only natural. You've lived your whole life knowing next to nothing about yourself. Not even Gerald could have possibly known all there is to know about you. But I wonder, are you satisfied with that? Are you content, not knowing who you are? Or do you yearn to know more? Was a foolish question, of course. You are not the sort to be complacent. So, only one more question matters. Are you ready? The truth. All of it. Learning it will doubtlessly have direct consequences on your life. I do not know what those will be. You may decide, once you learn it, that you wish you hadn't. But even if you have such regrets, you will never be able to return to ignorance. So, are you ready to know the truth? I see. That is what I wish to hear. The Archbishop continues to put her faith in you, and so you will continue to have my aid. More than that, I will put my faith in you as well, and I will do all that is within my power to help you someday reach the truth. May I discuss something with you? I promised to help you find the truth of who you are, but I'm afraid it's not that simple. There are some details I have kept concealed. 5 years ago, before she vanished, I asked Rheya some pointed questions. I learned that she knows everything about you. No, that is understating it. Rheya is responsible for your existence. I could explain to you here and now what fragments of knowledge I was able to pry from Rheya. I fear, however, that a partial understanding might do you more harm than good. Once we save Rheya, you will know the whole of it. For now, that is all I can tell you. If you are still uncertain about your feelings, then permit me to add one more thing. You, Rheya, and I, we are like family. Because of those deep ties, you can be certain that I will never abandon or betray you. On the contrary, I greatly wish to see what your future holds. I am, and will always be, your ally. You are not wrong. History is full of examples. I don't believe that will be the case here, but I suppose all I can do is ask for your trust. The truth is, you have become indispensable to me. And that is true quite independently of whether I see eye to eye with Rheya, or even whether we are friends. After this war is over, where I go and what I do will depend wholly on you. I am still trying to figure that out myself. Perhaps it is just that I find you so fascinating that I cannot bring myself to leave your side. I dislike a one-sided conversation, but in this case, I am afraid I had no choice. Our future is yours to determine.
Excuse me, Professor. May I have a moment of your time? Ah, wonderful. I was hoping you might enlighten me. About yourself, that is. You see, I happen to be quite curious about you. Well, because there is something different about you. You possess an air of mystery. I could not help but notice when first we met. I am intrigued, to say the least. I find it rather difficult to put into words. Were I to wax poetic, I would say you remind me of the sea. Have you ever been, Professor? The sea is vast, boundless. On the surface, all seems still. Yet beneath that stillness, it is unfathomably deep. Within, it teems with life. Yet without, one is lucky to glimpse a fleeting shadow. And yet, all one must do is cast a line to grasp hold of all that life. You cannot see it at a glance, but it is there all the same. About fish, of course. Oh, bother. I got sidetracked, didn't I? Right. About the sea. During a storm, the once calm waters become mighty enough to overturn even the vastest ships. Not unlike you. You are calm. You carry yourself with poise. Yet you wield great power. My brother is uncertain of you, however. He referred to you as a youth of dubious origin. Oh, but please do not think ill of him. He is incredibly dedicated to his work. So surely you'll understand why he would have doubts about one of whom he knows so little. Nobody even seems to know your age. Incidentally, how old are you? Wait, you do not know your own age? You truly are mysterious. Looking at you, it is quite difficult for me to determine. I wonder, could you be younger than your own students? Who, me? Well, I am roughly the same age as the other youths here. Be that as it may, it is simply not the case. Oh, by the way, I have actually been considering enrolling in the academy myself, but my brother will not allow it. He is a touch overprotective at times. Oh, my apologies. I am sure you have much work to do. I will not keep you any longer. We must speak again sometime, if that would be all right. Have a lovely day. It has been a while since we last spoke, Professor. Spare me a moment again, will you not? You recall how you helped me and allowed me to join your class, yes? I have learned a great many things since then. Indeed, I have truly grown so much. This personal growth is due in large part to you, and I wish to express my gratitude, sincerely. Excuse me? Are you implying that I am still naive? I will have you know that I have made many friends and am constantly learning new things. Why, when I go to the market, alone, I even haggle. You must be familiar with the delicate art of haggling, in which one negotiates a lower asking price for an item. That is the type of knowledge common only to those as mature as myself. Who? Me? Have you not asked this once before? It is a bit rude to ask repeatedly, you know. Is that so? Well, it seems we have something in common, since I do not know your age either. Come now, there is nothing to be gained from focusing so heavily on age. Touching on a previous discussion, I think I have learned more about you. I mentioned how you possess an air of mystery. I compared you to any old sea, but I have come to realize you are more like a particular sea, one I have seen before. When I was quite small, my mother would take me out to play in the sea. She was an excellent fisher, my mother. I grew to love fish deeply because of her. Well, you see, fish are... wait. I was talking about the sea, was I not? Anyhow, I sense that, like the sea, your depths are seemingly impenetrable. Yet, despite your unknowable depths, there is something familiar about you. It's as if we have met somewhere, long, long ago. No, I do not think so. It is all quite strange, really. I wonder if we might be distant relatives. No, that cannot be it either. After all, if we were related, that would mean... Though considering all that Raya has done, it is not entirely outside the realm of possibility. Oh, apologies. Just muttering to myself. It is nothing. Mutterings aside, I mean to say that you do not feel like a stranger to me. For whatever reason, I feel deeply connected to you. And for this, I am glad. Oh, hello, Professor. How nice to see you. You caught me off guard. I was actually just thinking about you. Just a moment ago? Well, I am afraid I just do not understand you. When we first met, I sensed something different about you,
something mysterious. And now I am convinced your existence itself is very special. Thinking on it, I know it to be true. You have a crest that should have been lost long ago. You wield the sword of the Creator as if it is nothing. Your hair and eye color changed on that day 5 years ago, to the same sort of color as mine and my brother's. I do not know. My brother refuses to speak to me of it. Since then, you have led us into battle, and thus far, we have always come out victorious. Your comrades and colleagues adore you. They believe in you, in your strength. I doubt there is a single soul who is likened to you. Who are you, really? I simply do not understand. Whatever the case may be, having hair like mine is proof that there is something exceptional about you. I may as well come forward with things. I, too, am unlike others. Surely you recall when I was targeted, specifically for my blood? I may not be special in the ways you are, but my blood is rare. It seems the two of us share a special differentness. I also believe that we are bound together in some way. Of this I am certain. Therefore, I intend to stay by your side and watch over you. Your existence must be preserved at all cost. Certainly those are the words of a hero. Let us unite our powers. Together, we are unstoppable. Tell me, what is it you were actually trying to say? You cannot possibly be serious. How can this be true? You are sincerely saying that the progenitor god Sothis dwells within you, and that you have inherited her power? That is utterly bizarre. If I may be so bold, do you consider yourself male or female? I have only ever heard you referred to as a male, but Sothis is most assuredly female. Am I to believe that you are a male goddess? I am not certain how much sense that makes. I suppose there are circumstances by which such a thing is possible. Oh, are you not? But if you have inherited her power, then surely the two of you have become one. It all makes my head spin. I suppose I will take your word for it. This is a ring. Oh my, it is beautiful. So delicate and feminine. Is this your ring? So then you walk around with a woman's ring. Surely this is proof that... Am I? Oh wait! Now I recall. I have heard that it is customary to bestow a ring upon the person one wishes to marry. Which would mean... Does this mean what I think it means? Me? You? Us? You mean to tell me that you have fallen in love with me? I think I might faint. No one has ever... Well, of course they have not. Oh, my apologies. I am quite taken aback. Are you most certain I am the one whom you love? I always knew there was a deep, special bond between us. I never quite imagined that it might develop into this. Or perhaps I did imagine it. Often. I must ask once more. Are you certain that you are not the goddess Sothis? Oh, this is all so surreal. I graciously accept your proposal and this beautiful ring. Your heart is as vast as the ocean. I ask that you wrap me in your embrace, for now and for all eternity.
Ah, Professor. Always a pleasure to see you. I wonder, might you have a moment to chat? Come now, you have no need to be on guard. I'd never cause you harm. You're far too valuable a specimen, that is to say, too valuable a member of the Academy staff. Indeed, the further my Crest research progresses, the closer you come to learning the truth of your heritage. Is it not so? When I learned you bore the lost crest, the very crest of flames itself, I set about learning everything I could about your past. What was the origin of your bloodline? How have the events of your life been shaped by your lineage? I became somewhat obsessed, I must admit. I promised you no harm, remember? I merely reached out to mercenaries whom you've worked with to understand your life before the Academy. Of course, I also contacted Gerald and his mercenary friends. Your father does keep rather interesting company. I'm excited to share with you what I learned, but I do ask that you correct me if I am mistaken on any account. The story begins with Gerald serving as captain of the Knights of Cerros. There was a woman at the monastery with whom Gerald was quite close. At first, it seemed obvious this mystery woman was your mother. Alas, that cannot be the case. The timing is all wrong. As it was told to me, the woman in question passed away shortly before Gerald left the monastery. Yet your birth occurred sometime later, while Gerald was taking work as a mercenary. This, of course, presumes your age is accurately reported. If you were born sooner, well, the story would be quite different, would it not? Oh, I am aware. You too were certainly enigmatic as far as mercenaries go. For example, Gerald never once spoke of his time serving as captain of the Knights. That's quite a secret to keep for all those years. In the end, your old acquaintances had little definitive to say about either of you. However, they all agreed on one thing. Your father and yourself were a strong pair, warriors to be respected and feared. You in particular. In fact, many came to know you as the Ashen Demon. They say you would destroy your enemies without a hint of emotion on your face. The mercenaries I spoke to revered you as a living legend of sorts. So, that is what I learned. And I admit, it is barely more than I knew before. The next step in my research is to ask your blood for answers, and hope that it is more forthcoming than your past acquaintances. How are you doing, Professor? Would you care to join me for a cup of tea? It occurs to me that whenever we chat, I have a tendency to pester you with my questions and theories about your history. It seems only fair to speak on the topic of myself for once. And perhaps you might feel more positively inclined toward my research if I shared my own story. Not at all. I am quite honest in my motivations. Well, I suppose I should begin at the beginning, eh? I was born into a noble house of the Empire. Not a large house, mind you, but noble all the same. Our land holdings were small, but our bloodline was quite strong. So, as you can imagine, there were many of us in the family who carried the power of crests. I myself bear a minor crest. Our family's abundance of crests may be part of the reason I've been interested in the topic since I was just a boy. I dedicated myself to my studies, and after years of effort, I became lead crest scholar at the Empire's largest research institution. My research is more important than social standing in the Empire. There I had only imperial blood, and thus imperial crests at hand. So I came to Garrick Mach and devoted myself to my research during my time as a professor. My progress is slow, but with each revelation, I move ever closer to the answers I have sought for decades. Your cooperation as the bearer of the Crest of Flames ensures my research will continue to advance. In fact, it may bring me ever closer to the goal of uncovering everything there is to know about crests. I do hope you shall continue helping me advance in this field of study. Together, we will solve the mystery of your Crest of Flames, and our world will be the better for it. Shall we proceed? My lab instruments are fully prepared. I have a great number of tests I'm excited to carry out. No, don't worry. They won't hurt one bit. Which means that there are some elements of your power that cannot be explained by current theory. Although this may lead to a discovery that alters the very fabric of Crest research. Oh, pardon me, Professor. I became lost in thought, and I do tend to ramble. I suggest we call it a day. Do you concur? No, you mustn't push yourself too hard. When you are not in battle, you are so often here with me. I get so energized speaking with you. Well, I must remember to pull my head out of the clouds. That said, perhaps we should discuss things unrelated to crests from time to time. Some sort of silly, lighthearted topic might be nice, eh? I'm not especially skilled at small talk, alas. Let me see. Perhaps we should discuss... I know. Food. Not my strong suit, the culinary arts, but I do enjoy a good meal. Which kind of food do you prefer, Professor? Sweet or spicy? Spicy? Quite the opposite of me. Yet you're an exception in lots of ways, so it's not altogether surprising. An old colleague of mine theorized that those who bear crests favor sweet flavors over spicy. She suggested that the crest exerts some manner of influence over... Oh, there I go again. How embarrassing. We were supposed to be avoiding talk of crests, weren't we? Terrible habit of mine. Finding a way to turn any conversation towards crests. I really should find a way to stop that. That is kind of you, Professor, but it's all right. If you were to lose your patience with me, it could have an incalculable impact on my research. That sort of thing has happened in the past, you know. Back when I was still in the Empire. At first, any lady I was spending time with would titter and say she didn't mind if I talked about crests. But at some point, she would always become fed up and stop listening to what I had to say. In the end, invariably, while I was particularly focused on my research, she would write to say we were done. You may be a man, but I still don't wish for you to grow tired of my company.
Settle down and stop with the knocking. I'll be there in 2 shakes. Oh, dear. Professor? Is that you? Just a moment. Oh, what should I do? I can't open the door in this state. Manuela, you simply must quit oversleeping. Hold on. Where are my clothes? I can't even find my... Where in blazes is my underwear? Oh, What is my dressing robe belt caught on? I can't tie this properly. It's not even covering... Oh, Manuela. This will have to do. Oh. I would hope, Professor, that you have the decorum to pretend you've heard nothing. Anyway, I'll be just another moment. Patience, please. Hello. Sorry to have kept you waiting. So, what do you want? Excuse me? You had a reason for coming here, I assume. I've put a lot of time and effort into making it possible to talk with you, you know. No, you've done nothing wrong. Let's just say I'm not having a good day. Actually, I didn't have a good night. Never mind. What did you want, anyway? You heard from him? The fellow from last night? Huh. What did he have to say? Yeah, figures. Kind of saw it coming, actually. That's why I came back to my room and went to bed. To get over it. Thank you for checking in on me. Was that all you wanted? Well then, good night. Professor, a pleasure to see you. I was here for confessional, confessing my foolishness. While I'm at it, may I confess something to you too? I realize what a burden I've been. On you, I mean. After every breakup, I neglect my work, and I know how that affects you. I'm completely worthless as a woman. Can you imagine how that feels? Oh, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I just know it. You think so too, don't you? Really? So if I couldn't find anybody else, you'd marry me? Oh, don't worry. I can tell by the look on your face you didn't mean it. What's wrong with me? It's not my looks. I'm still gorgeous. Or am I? Be honest, do I look old? No, not possible. I'm the songstress who swept the empire off its feet. Men professed their love for me hourly. It can't be my looks. You're right. Although, just fine is a bit... Well, it's better to be attractive than just fine. Oh no, if the problem isn't my looks, and they are not the problem, then it must be... what? My personality? I know you're trying to find a way to say it gently, but you think there's a problem, don't you? I suppose I can be a bit unkempt. I do have a short temper, and I may be a little lazy, sometimes. But I've always heard fellas, you know, like a woman with a few flaws. Seems to me there are plenty of flawed girls who have landed themselves a good man. So maybe my trouble is I'm not imperfect enough. Do you think I could use a few more flaws? Are you saying I'm perfect as I am? Come now, you'll make me blush. So I said, two can play at that game. I told him, a small-time little weasel like you ought to be begging me for attention. Oh, it gets me so mad, so worked up. Why aren't there any men around here who understand what a catch I am? Come to think of it, you've always been nice to me. I mean, you listen to all my problems. I feel like I can really trust you. I don't have that kind of thing with a lot of people. Right, I got it. I knew you'd say we were just friends. I'd like to maybe talk about this once the war is over. Once we're all safe. All right, enough of this moping around. What we need is a change of mood. We've still got a lot to do together. When I think about that, what are 1 or 2 men? What's wrong is, it's not just 1 or 2 men, it's more like 100 men, maybe even 200, more! I'm completely... Oh, I can't get out of this mood! Actually, I've got an idea. Exercise will help. I'm going to the training ground. Come on and give me a hand. Gonna work my anger out on 100 training dummies. Maybe 200 if we've got 'em. Oh, are you sure you should be here? There must be tons of young girls falling over themselves just to get near a hero like you. Or are you not interested in such attention? What? Not looking for romance, then? So that's why you never gave in, no matter how many times I tried. Listen, I get it. No need to explain anything. It's better this way. It means I wasn't the problem. Wait, am I the problem? I suppose if I had some charm, maybe you would have fallen for me. Oh, why does this always happen to me? I'm not surprised. You can probably have your pick. What? Have you gotten me confused with someone else? Look, you don't need to take pity on me, okay? Or... that's not it, is it? I can see it in your eyes. Nobody's looked at me that way in a long time. I sound like a schoolgirl, but this is the moment I've always dreamed of. So of course I'm going to mess it up by not knowing how to answer. Just give me a minute to compose myself. Okay. Come on, Manuela. Whew, that's better. So, my answer... Yes, I would love to marry you. I'm a complete mess, and I'll be a massive pain to you from now on. But in exchange for the trouble, I promise to give you all of my love. So don't let me down, you hear? You know, until this moment, I didn't realize how much my heart longed to call you my own. I want to love you, and to be loved by you. I want to share my life with you. And you really like that idea? Oh, goodness. Oh, I just giggled. Maybe I'm not as old as I tell myself. Or maybe you just make me feel good about myself, my darling.
I am sorry to make you tag along with my shopping trip like this. You are very kind to offer your help, even though this is my duty. I will someday repay you for this kindness. though I fear there may not be so many things I can help you with. Fishing? Of course, I would be happy to. I recall hearing that Captain Gerald was quite the fisherman. Is that true? You made a living as a mercenary under Captain Gerald's guidance. As a comparatively new member of the Knights of Cerros, I was not so familiar with his past exploits. Yet clashing swords with him, even just a handful of times, was enough for his abilities to astound me. You, as one trained by him, must have those same great talents. I have devoted my life to the path of a knight, yet I find your mercenary experience lends your blade
Wait up! Catch me if you can. Come on, this way. This way.
Even in dark times such as these, children can find joy in life. Was I smiling? Please, forget you saw that. I do not have the right to such pleasures. Indeed, for those we have lost will never be able to smile again. I am sorry. I did not mean to trouble you with such talk. Come, let us head back. Dear Goddess, please allow His Majesty to rest in peace. Who is it? Oh, Professor. What brings you here at this hour? I am most sorry for disturbing you. The hour is late, Professor. You should be resting in preparation for the day to come. I was offering my prayers to the Goddess. It is all that I can do now. I told you I was in service of the royal family, yes? When I was only a young soldier, the king saw fit to make a knight of me. I was given the great honor of guiding and protecting the royal family. It was similar to your own work. I was a teacher of sorts. I instructed both King Lambert and Prince Dimitri in the arts of combat, tactics, and academia. I also did all in my power to keep them safe. Until that day, I was unable to fulfill my duty. I was powerless. Yes. When I received word of the attack, it was already too late. His Majesty was dead, along with many knights and soldiers. If only I had made it to Dusker more quickly. It is my fault that His Highness Dimitri has become the way he is now. After that, I abandoned my wife and child and fled my homeland. I turned my back on everything I swore to protect. My sins are countless. I will bear the weight of my guilt for as long as I live. What else can I do for His Majesty and all of those who died that day? Long ago, there was someone who told me something quite similar. Forgive me. This will not do. As I grow older, I find myself talking endlessly about the past, but it is too late for such things now. I have finished my prayers. We should return. Even this town, which was a ruin, has begun to recover its energy. However, acquiring supplies is still difficult. The people living here are struggling too. This conflict must be brought to an end soon. I agree. We must seize victory with our own hands. Still, I wonder what path my life should follow once we achieve our goals. This has been my intent. However, I sometimes find myself thinking differently. I wonder if it is time for my role here to end. Our peaceful future would hardly benefit from a war-hardened relic such as myself. I wonder if I should ask my wife to join me here, to live out our days together at the monastery. That would not be so bad a choice either. Perhaps it is the fault of last night's drink that I am indulging in such dreams of the future today. Yes, I've learned there is strength in focusing clearly on tomorrow and allowing yesterday to be done.
Hey, it's the old fishing guy. Hi there.
A short time ago, I instructed these children in the art of fishing.
Thanks to you, we caught a really, really big fish in the river nearby.
Is that right? Be sure you share it with your families now.
We will.
I did say something about that once, didn't I? I even told you to forget you ever saw me smile. But now, I would not ask that of you. Your words from when last we spoke have stayed with me. They bring to mind the king I first served. He told me not to dwell upon the dead. The dead are dead, and those who live are not bound by them. I intend to live my own life from now on. You have a fine smile as well. One that I could never have imagined when we first met. No matter how our titles or positions change, I hope you will always remain yourself, Professor. This place never changes. Even though Lady Rheya has withdrawn from duty and you have become the new Archbishop, the monastery that was in ruins has been rebuilt. The continent is united under its rightful king. Amidst all that change, this place stays the same. I have been considering what to do for some time, and I have chosen to remain here. Of course, I have obtained His Majesty's blessing in this. He told me I should live as I see fit. I believe this soldier's duty has come to an end. It feels lonely, yet I think it is a good thing. And remaining at the monastery does not mean severing all ties with my daughter. I fully intend to visit my wife and child whenever possible. There is one other thing. My youth may be gone, but I would like to offer you my service as a knight, if you will have me. The war is over, yet there are still difficulties to face. We of the Church must join hands with the Holy Kingdom of Fargus to make a better world for all. I am unsure how much I can do for you, but I hope I can form a bridge between the Church and the Kingdom. Aside from that, I suppose I can at least teach the orphans at the monastery to fish. Oh, I nearly forgot something very important. Yes. I would like to put an end to the deception that has been my life. Your Grace, I humbly request that you call me by my true name. I am Gustav Eddie Dominic. Yes, my liege. I hereby swear my allegiance to you, unwavering and forevermore. On my honor as a knight, I will shield you from all troubles. I swear from this day forth to protect your life and your smile. Hello, Professor. You're really on the move today. A lot to get done, I take it? I'm happy to help. Tell me, is there anything I could do to lighten your load a bit? Oh, surely there must be something. Don't be shy about asking for help. We're practically siblings, after all, cut from the same cloth. I was raised by Gerald just as you were, so we should have no trouble getting along. Huh? Did I not mention that? How thoughtless! What an embarrassing gaffe! My parents died when I was small, and I came to live in the monastery. It was an aimless existence, but sometimes a knight would pass by wearing magnificent armor. That knight was Gerald, and the first time he laid eyes on me, he made me his squire. What was he thinking, huh? No kidding. I don't think I'll ever fully understand his logic. Later, I heard that the squire preceding me had died of a terrible plague. I looked a bit like him and was about the same age, so Gerald thought me a suitable replacement. A little nutty, old Gerald, there's no doubt about that. Quite a character. All that was more than 30 years ago. How time flies. That's right. I wasn't even 15 years old. Well, Gerald hardly seemed to age at all. In fact, over drinks he once told me, perhaps that's a story for another day. At any rate, that's Gerald for you. One of a kind. I don't think there's anyone else quite like him. Right. Well, now you've heard my whole story. I hope that you understand now why I feel such a strong sense of attachment to you. If you're ever in a bind, just give me a holler. I'll help however I can. Indeed, indeed. Well, I'll let you get back to it. But truly, if I can take anything off your plate, don't hesitate to let me know. Hello, Professor. What brings you here? Fancy a bit of fishing? You know, I can hardly go fishing without thinking of old Gerald. He and I would just sit here, casting our lines again and again. I'm no better at it now than I was then. Not a single nibble. Just like your father. You know all the tricks of the fisherman's trade. I was hopeless at it, but he was a master. In the time it took me to catch one fish, he could fill his basket to the brim. You know, talking to you, I'm feeling very nostalgic. Why don't you join me? We can trade some stories about the old man. We spoke before about how Gerald never seemed to age, right? Once, when he was drunk, he let the secret slip. He said he'd had an infusion of Crest-bearing blood, and it had greatly extended his life. Well, we'd both been drinking. I figured he was joking, so I just laughed it off. Then I asked him his age. He said he'd stopped counting after he hit 100. And he was telling the truth. In those 20 years he was away, he didn't age a bit. An incredible person, to be sure. And I probably don't know the half of it. Actually, I'd like to ask you something about Gerald, if you don't mind. When Gerald was away from the monastery, what was he like? In other words, he was exactly the same. When he was with the knights, he always found time to go fishing. He was hooked on it, you might say. He'd say there was no greater pleasure in life than sinking his teeth into a fish he'd caught and washing it down with a drink. I have to say, right now, fishing with you, it really takes me back. This feels just like the good old days, when Gerald was sitting alongside me. Ah, there you are.
Hello. Oh, yes. Apologies. I'm struggling with some unpleasant thoughts. Since the war began, I've ended so many lives. You and your students got your hands dirty as well. Nobody forced you all to join the fight, of course. You did so of your own volition. Still, there must be something very wrong with the world for it to make children into killers. That's true enough. We've all gotten older. Listen to me. I'm sorry for being so glum. Well said. In truth, I don't think any expression will improve my looks. I'm a brute, no matter what face I pull. You really are just like Gerald. When I was down in the dumps, he'd cheer me up with a playful quip. He gave me his library of jokes, but when I tell one of them, nobody laughs at the punchline. They laugh at me. You, on the other hand, well, you inherited the old man's comic talents. I'm feeling pretty perky now, all thanks to you. I can't stop this war by feeling gloomy about it. Onward, to a brighter future. To tell you the truth, that was another line I picked up from Gerald. He taught me everything about life. He was more important to me than anyone in the world. Apart from you, perhaps. Oh, sure, there's that, but not only that. When I look at you or see you fighting in battle, it's like I'm seeing a sibling. But at the same time, it's like seeing something sacred and powerful. Something I must defend. You're so important to the future of Fodlan, and to me. I promise to continue protecting you with the strength of a knight and the love of a big brother. I guess that makes sense when you consider the age difference between us and my closeness to Gerald. Regardless, in the name of the captain, I swear to keep you safe. You're welcome to return the favor, should you feel so inclined. Hey, what are you doing here? Waiting for someone? Haha! You've got a knack for rib ticklers, no bones about it. We weren't planning to meet up. Anyway, things seem to have quieted down across all of Fodlan. But we can't slow down now. The work's only just begun. In fact, we'll probably be busier than ever. Ha! You do look quite worn out. But when we've got a little breathing room, I'd like to go fishing with you. We can sit by the water together and idly cast our lines, not a care in the world. It occurs to me, were you really waiting for someone? A little rendezvous, perhaps? Ha! Good for you! You're at that age, after all. Time to settle down. Well, I should get going. I'm sorry, it's just... when it comes to your life, I get emotional, you know? You've done so well. You've persisted through so many obstacles, and you just kept on fighting. I have no doubt Captain Gerald's looking down proudly from heaven right now. And of course, I'm proud of you too. I'm a very proud big brother. You could have let that one slide. At any rate, let's keep marching forward together. For Fodlan. For the captain. Of course you can count on me. As long as I live, I'll be your most faithful ally.
wonder why. Why does Lady Rhea give you special treatment? You're not particularly strong or good-looking. You seem exceedingly unremarkable. Not that I doubt you were a skilled mercenary. Shamir came from the same background, but she doesn't get nearly as much of Lady Rhea's attention. Besides, it'd be one thing if you got brought on as a knight, but a professorship, unprecedented. I just don't get it. I'm flummoxed as to why she holds you in such high esteem. Maybe it's because you're related to Gerald. He was a leader of the Knights of Cerros, and probably the finest mercenary in all Fodlan. By the time I joined, he was gone, so I don't know him too well, but he's strong, right? Oh, come on. There can't be a soul in Fodlan who hasn't heard tales of the Bladebreaker. Maybe that's it. Gerald used his influence to help you. But Lady Rhea wouldn't give you favorable treatment because of that. No, definitely not. There must be something more to you. Okay, that settles it. I'm going to watch from afar, figure out what Lady Rhea could possibly see in you. Whatever it is, maybe I can copy it so that she'll take a shine to me as well. And if I discover that your intentions are malicious, I'll cut you down with relish. I was trying to catch you off guard, but you managed to block it. Not too shabby, Professor. Oh, come on. Look at the blade I threw. It's just a wooden training sword. At worst, you could have gotten a bruise or perhaps a splinter. Let's agree it was funny and move on. Aw, poor thing. Aren't you used to getting hurt? You've been in your fair share of battles. Besides, I knew you'd dodge in time. I told you before that I was going to observe you. Since then, I've been watching you. I know what you're capable of. I took steps to make myself invisible, so I could observe you without being detected. I hardly let you out of my sight. After extensive research, I've concluded that you really are first-rate. Your sword skills are impeccable, you're a gifted educator, you clearly love working with the students. Someone with all of your exceptional qualities should not exist, but here you are. At first, I thought Gerald was the reason for Lady Rhea's interest in you. But no, Lady Rhea knew exactly what she was doing when she singled you out. Unfortunately, I can't hope to emulate you, let alone wield the sword of the Creator. So my plan of imitating you for Lady Rhea's attention has come to nothing. I didn't say that. When we rescue Lady Rhea, I'll provide her a full report of your activities. Hopefully, then I'll be in her good graces. Oh, and don't think you can avoid being watched. I won't let you out of my sight. I will not yield! It's been a while since I had such a close call. If not for you, Professor, I wouldn't have made it. I didn't expect to be ambushed on a simple scouting mission. You should be asking about the mission, not about me. I have to ask, Professor, what brought you here? So you came to protect me. I'm beginning to understand why your allies love you. These are selfish times. One doesn't expect to encounter selflessness. You're kind. In that respect, I'd say you're much like Lady Rhea. Of course. It's thanks to her kindness that I'm here today. I was an outlaw in Fargus. She took me in and let me live here. Didn't I tell you? I was born into House Karen in Fargus. They used to call me Thunderstrike Cassandra. I was implicated in a plot to kill the king. It was a totally false accusation, of course. I had to flee the kingdom, and the Archbishop took me in. I used to be a student at the academy, so I knew I'd be safe here. Lady Rheya saved me once when I was a student, you know. I don't really remember what happened. I was badly injured and near death. Lady Rheya took care of me. She didn't mind getting dirty. She took my muddied, bloodied body into her arms. Since then, Lady Rheya has been my inspiration. I will always serve her, protect her, love her. For some reason, when I think about Lady Rheya, your face comes to mind. You've become an important presence in my life. I wasn't expecting you to have a positive response. I'm not thrilled about it personally. I am still going to keep my eye on you. Not so I can report to Lady Rheya, though. Just because I want to. Sorry to bother you, Professor. I know you're busy. You're going to be the new ruler of Fodlan, after all. I'd just like a word. As you might imagine, I've been contemplating my future. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've always seen myself as a servant of Lady Rheya, not of the Church. Now that she's gone, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I suppose I could go back to Fargus and take up the Karen name again. But that's not what I want. I'd rather not be tied down by my family name. It wouldn't feel right, falling back on knighthood simply because it's what I know. It would be different if I had a reason to continue being a knight. Well, if you told me you wanted me to remain a knight, that would be a good enough reason. Or if you said you wanted me to stay by your side forever. Or if you said you wanted to get married, for example. Wait, are you being serious? You are. But I'm Thunder Catherine, whose very name frightens little children. Who knows what I might do to you? I'm no good at cooking or sewing or anything remotely domestic. Why me? You love me. I'm glad. As for me, I love you too. Deeply. I never expected things to turn out this way. But now that they have, I'm certain I wish to remain a knight and stay by your side. Will you accept? Good. After all, swinging a sword has been the only life I've known. But from now on, the power of Thunderbrand is ours, not just mine. For now and forever, you can't escape me. I hope you're ready.
Hey, Professor. The students seem to like you. And you're not modest about it. I like that. Still, I can't deny that you've got skills. It's a little strange, to be completely honest. I had my doubts, but they were right to make you a professor. I'd be suspicious of their true intentions, if I were you. But what's it matter? Seems like it turned out just fine for you. I'll admit, it's unbelievable that you used to be a mercenary. I was a merc before coming here, but I can't imagine pulling off your fancy tactician act. I freeze up near royals and nobles. You deal with a lot of nobles when you're a merc. I didn't mind putting my life on the line, but I never liked having to bow and scrape to our noble employers. And that's what I like about being a knight. I get to punch all the nobles I want. I'm joking. but the Knights do make a good business partner. I don't believe in the Church of Cerros. It makes me a bit of an anomaly among the Knights. Raya took me in, so I became a Knight to repay my debt to her. I may be a Knight, but it still feels like I'm doing the same things I did as a merc. Who knows, though? Maybe you and I will end up working together. Us Knights are a pretty tough crew. I'm guessing you'd run circles around us, though. I'm interested to see where your path leads you. Thanks for your help out there. Battles tend to go smoother with you around. I think you did most of the heavy lifting. It may be unwise to think this way on the battlefield, but I feel I can trust your commands without question. Not sure. I might have an idea, but never mind. I've also noticed that you've been putting me in more precarious situations lately. Almost like you know I won't question your orders. I'm glad you trust me to get the job done, but still, I knew you were doing it on purpose. You're in a very important position now that you're leading the charge against the Empire. Funny to think you used to just teach at the Officers' Academy. Your old students still call you Professor. That's no title for the commander of an army. Relax, I was just having fun. You sure are an interesting one. My people lost the war, and I was left to wander Fodlan alone, but I guess meeting you was my prize. You look confused. Did you not know any of this? I was living in my homeland of Dagda up until the Imperial Army destroyed it 10 years ago. But being a mercenary, I have no real allegiance. That's why I'm working here now. Don't worry, though. I don't plan to turn on you. It's been 10 years. Can I move on yet? Never mind. I know what you'd say. In a sense, someone who's long since passed. Another mercenary I fought alongside. They were killed 10 years ago when Dagda was in conflict with the Empire. It's all I can focus on lately. To be honest, I blame you. I'm just teasing. I know it's not your fault. You just remind me of him. You give off a similar air. It's uncanny. You even have the same inflection, which makes no sense because we only ever spoke Dagdan. I don't know what it is, but you feel the same to me. I guess you just remind me of the past. Please, it's not your fault. It's my fault for getting caught up in memories. Still, you always remember your first love, right? That's enough of that. There are more relevant topics to discuss. There's no point in dwelling on the past. Let's talk about the future. Your next move seems apparent. But who knows where I'll end up? Though I may have done enough traveling for one lifetime, I like the idea of having a permanent home. And after all my time here, I've grown quite fond of Fodlan. Sorry for making you wait. Negotiations went long. Not curious about the contract? They wanted me to stay on as a mercenary, but I said no. I've been considering a different kind of commitment instead. Less of a contract, more of a promise. Good. I thought you might want to follow Fodlan tradition and exchange rings. Right, that's that. Shall we be off?
What's wrong? Were you expecting more? We've been fighting together for so long. No need for words. I've said enough. Right? I can see this is important to you. Fine then. I vow to stay with you through all of life's many hardships. I will stay by your side, and you'll stay by mine. I left Dagda, crossed through Bridget, and came to Fodlan on my own. I chose the life of a mercenary, alone, and free to live wherever and however I pleased. Now I'm choosing to remain here, to live the rest of my life with you. Is that enough? Now I'm just embarrassed. Look at us. We have no idea what to do with ourselves. But you're right. This is a special day. Now then, are you ready to go? Fine. We can stay. I've already made a fool of myself. No point in trying to avoid it now. So, what else is there to talk about? Oh, right. Remember when I mentioned how much you have in common with my old partner? I don't think that's actually true. I didn't want to admit that I was attracted to you, so I convinced myself that I was just pining for the past. I was worried that revealing those feelings would ruin our friendship. Anyway, it's your turn to talk. Tell me about your past. You're lucky I love you. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you get away with an answer like that.
Aha! Found ya! You're always nosing around places, aren't you, Professor? Can be real hard to find you sometimes. No worrying about it. I just wanted to talk to you about a thing today. Do you remember how Lady Rhea asked you to come to the office this evening? Well, she told me that I should come to let you know that today's a bad day for doing that, and you should go and see her tomorrow instead. That's pretty much everything I needed to say, I think. Oh, except to ask you if you've seen Seteth around anywhere. Okay, I'm supposed to tell Seteth the thing Lady Rhea told me to tell you, but he's hard to find. Nah, I'll find him myself. But if you see him, then find me, please, and tell me where you saw him, okay? 'Cause then I'll know where he is. I'll be in the stables if you need me. Gotta put out the fodder before it's the next kid's shift. Don't want her thinking I left my work for her to do. Oh, but if I'm not in the stables and you need to find me, I'll be at the forest up north, 'cause there's a bunch of logs lying around up there. I figure I ought to chop them up, or else someone might trip on a log, or we might run out of firewood. And if I chop, then it'll save other people time. If it looks like I'm done there, then the quarters need to be swept. So if you see Seteth and you need to find me, then I might be there. Nope, this is my job. I'm not giving it to anyone else because it's mine and I'm gonna do it. Besides, if you help me out, Lady Rhea might give me an earful. I don't know why, but Lady Rhea sure does seem to like you. She's always worried about what you might be doing or not doing. Oh yeah, not that it's any of my business. Anyways, Lady Rhea asked me to do some jobs, so I'm doing them all. Even some she didn't ask for, but I know need doing, so I'm doing them. End of story. And remember, if you see Seteth around, come find me and tell me where you saw him, yeah? Huh? But I just told you where I'd be. If I'm not in the stables, I'll be at the forest. If I'm not, oh, I see. You're right, I'm all over the place, huh? I don't want to waste your time, Professor, so if you see Seteth, how about you tell him I was looking for him, and then tell him all the places I'll be? Then he can spend his time looking for me instead of you. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. A real good plan. Let's do that. See you later, Professor. Keeping it clean, sweeping it clean. No more trash, nowhere, no how. Oh darn, there's trash over there. Hey, Professor! The cathedral's a real important place for the Church of Cerros, so I always make sure it's all sparkling clean. The monks do some cleaning too, and they tell me not to bother, and sometimes they even say to go away, but they just don't clean as good as I do. I don't stop until everything shines. Nah, not really. And Lady Rhea told me it's okay if I don't show an interest unless I feel like it. And I haven't so far, but I just want to take good care of the things she cares about. If there's a thing she wants taken care of, then I'll do it better than anyone else. Don't you feel the same, since Lady Rhea really took a liking to you and all? Maybe you don't realize how great a person Lady Rhea is. She's always praying hard as she can for her followers all across Fodlan. She does it every single day. And even though she's always so busy, she tries to listen to as many people's needs as she can. When she's seen the kids who lost their parents in Rheya village, she didn't leave them there. She got the church to take those kids in, same as me. She's so kind. She's almost like a mom to all her followers, and just everybody that I can think of loves her. You really didn't know? Okay, maybe she likes you more than she likes me. But I know that I know a whole lot more about her than you do. I know these things, okay? So don't go talking down to me like you know better. Huh? Well, just as long as we're all clear on that. Whew, time for a breather. Hey, Professor. Yep, noticed you have been too. Seems like it's been a real rough day for just about everybody, huh? I've been so busy I still haven't eaten. I hope there's still food left. Whoa, thanks, Professor. This is really good. What a day. I need a nap, but I still gotta get the dining hall cleaned up. Professor, that's funny. You push yourself harder than anybody else. You make me look lazy. Besides, I don't even break a sweat doing this stuff. The day Lady Rhea comes home, I want her to see the monastery the way it was 5 years ago. That's why I do all this stuff. For her. And the harder I work, the better. Heck, I'd do more than I do now if there were hours in the day. But I can't go without sleep. Tried once. You must think I'm pretty weird, huh, Professor? I'm always on about Lady Rhea, and I'm not even from Fodlan. I bet most people around here think I'm kind of weird. But I'm real grateful for everything Lady Rhea's done for me. That's nice of you to say. Real nice. Thanks, Professor. It's good to know you like me. Helps me feel even more at home. I've heard people say that good folks have a heart of gold. Not real gold, I mean. Just they always care about everybody else. Even guys like me. Lady Rhea's incredible. But I figure you're just the same, Professor. Okay. I guess I gotta give in and get some sleep. I'll get up extra early to make up for it. Good night, Professor.
Welcome, Professor. This is the first time I have welcomed you here, is it not? There is no need to be nervous. Please, come closer. When you speak with me here in this room, you are not speaking with the Archbishop, but with Raya. It's just me. Such a sweet child. Oh, my apologies. I should not be treating you like a child. As Gerald's kin, somehow you don't seem at all a stranger to me. Speaking of Gerald, may I ask if he ever spoke of me to you? Oh dear, how heartless of him. In any case, let us endeavor to become closer from here on out. Since you are here, shall I tell you about the Gerald that I knew? By the look of it, you haven't heard much about his time at the monastery, have you? When I first met Gerald, he was quite young. Why, he could not even grow a full beard at that point. On one fateful occasion, the band of mercenaries he belonged to fought alongside the Knights of Cerros. I was traveling with the Knights at the time, and Gerald jumped in front of an attack meant for me. He was gravely wounded, on the verge of death. I tended to his wounds in a desperate attempt to save his life. Thankfully, my efforts were not in vain. Gerald managed to escape a seemingly certain death. I made arrangements for him to receive further care at Garrick Mock. The moment he was deemed fully recovered, I invited him to join the Knights. Well, it is not a story I have often repeated. Even at the monastery, there are not many who know that. I tell you this because, to me, you are the child of the one who saved my life all those years ago. And also, never mind. It is nothing. I simply wanted to say that I trust you. By coming to visit with me today, you have... well, suffice it to say that my day is brighter than it otherwise would have been. I thank you for that. Hello, Professor. It is so nice to see you here. It brings me great joy to know that you wish to visit with me again. I have this odd feeling that recently you've been trying to avoid me. I am relieved to hear that. In any case, I am delighted by this opportunity to speak with you again. My, how laughable I must seem. I imagine you must be dumbstruck by how unbecoming my behavior is for the Archbishop of all of Fodlan. Such brusque manners. You must get those from your father. In any case, how are you feeling? Have you experienced anything strange since you began wielding the Sword of the Creator? Oh, I am glad. There are so many legends about that blade, I was worried that carrying it may result in some strange side effect. Has there really been nothing odd? A tightness in your chest, strange dreams, anything of the sort? I see. Well, if something does occur, please let me know immediately. After all, it might have something to do with that relic of yours. Please know that you are welcome to come to me about anything. I am here for you, always. By the way, when I see you at work giving such splendid guidance to all of your students, I want you to know that it brings me great joy, as though I myself am receiving the benefit of your kindness. Hello there. I've been waiting for you. If you would, please allow me a closer look at your face. Those beautiful shining eyes, and silken hair so similar to my own. Oh dear, please excuse my rudeness. I forgot myself for a moment. It is only that we haven't had a chance to speak privately since you were blessed with the power of the goddess. I hope I have not caused you any discomfort. In that case, I hope you will allow me to behold your sweet face again in the future. It is my dearest wish that we may strengthen the bonds between us further still. Yes, as souls blessed by a connection to the progenitor god, the bonds between us are truly unbreakable. Just as the goddess blessed you with her own power, I too received her divine protection long, long ago. Though different, our fates are entwined. You say that now, but I am certain there is much you still wish to know. To that end, know that truth has a way of revealing itself in time. If you experience any further changes, please know that you can rely on me to guide you. Seteth and Flane are also here to support you however they can. Dear child, may the goddess protect you always. As I soared through the sky, I spoke with my mother. Tell me, is it wrong for me to be happy that I escaped death? Can you still say such things to me, even after witnessing my other form? Thank you. Somehow I feel as though your acceptance alone is my salvation. My sweet companion, I am entrusting the future of Fodlan to you. It is the only logical choice, as everyone wishes for you to be the new leader of this land. I am not qualified to continue leading the people. Though my intention was to keep the peace in Fodlan, I still propagated a false history and deceived my faithful followers. I also took advantage of my position as Archbishop to further my own selfish goal of seeing my mother again. If my foolish actions had anything to do with the war, I wonder, after all I have done, is it truly acceptable for me to go on living my life? You are aware that it is my fault your fate has been so cruel, are you not? You have become so strong. You and I, we were brought together by the flow of time and bound by the hands of fate. I took you on as a professor, and ever since, well, I believe with all of my heart that this outcome was meant to be. Perhaps it is disrespectful of me to say that. Because it gives all of the credit to time and to fate, and doesn't pay you due honor for all of the choices you made that brought us to this moment. For all that you have done, for all the joy that you have brought me, thank you. Ever since the tragedy at the Red Canyon, I have lived a solitary life. In an effort to fill the hole left by that solitude, I took up the challenge of reviving the progenitor god. I wished for you to become the progenitor god. I wished desperately to be held in my mother's arms once more, but that has changed. Now, I wish only for you to be yourself, and to have you by my side. I love you dearly, and so I must ask, will you accept this ring? If you feel the same, I would like nothing more than to spend the rest of my life with you. You brought a ring as well? For me? I am overcome with joy. I never thought I would know a day so blissful as this, that we found each other. Perhaps that means my mother is looking after us, guiding us. As the new leader of Fodlan, if you wish for this time of peace to be everlasting, well then, I will happily dedicate my life to supporting your reign. No matter what obstacles we should encounter, I believe that our bond, no, rather our love, I believe that our love can overcome all. Together, we can achieve anything. With our love, we will make Fodlan's future as bright as the stars in the sky.
Complain. What is it now? You are a fool, just standing there and acting nonchalant. Have you already forgotten about me? I also said I would always be with you. But perhaps you would have preferred it if I had vanished without a trace. You were alone, and so I chose to come back to this world to stay with you. Do not put on a show. You know you cannot hide your truth from me. And I must say that you have done quite well. Of course you have. I chose to join our souls because I have great faith in you. And yet I must admit I did not know you would achieve so much. To think you could have died so early on. Well, who can say? My memory is faint. But all is well that ends so well. Is that not what they say? Huh? What is that thing? A ring, of course, but I must ask, for whom? I see, or no, I take it back. You are not making any sense. Could it be that my own feelings were somehow influential? But when I think about it like that, I can't help but feel that I'm so in love, I should make an eternal vow. What? Oh, were you eavesdropping? Oh, fine. I shall admit, I do. I love you deeply, overwhelmingly, passionately. Ours is a love without an end. And so, I guess I shall accept that ring of yours. Indeed, it's only right, for you and I are joined within our souls. And that is much the same as marriage, don't you think? The stone within your chest is little more than decoration now. That means it is within your very soul that I exist. And so, whatever are you waiting for? Well, just wear it on your own finger. Our love is all that matters, not a ring. The two of us are one, for now and ever. I hope you are aware of that. In sickness and in health, and come what may, I shall be deep within your heart. I love you, and I can feel the warmth of love from you as well. I know, you can no longer hide a thing from me. The day you die, I'll follow you. We shall journey as one until the end of time. I never tire of being around you. Since we could not trade words for far too long, I have much that I wish to say to you. I know just where to start. Do you recall what we spoke of before? I had told you not to let your guard down. Honestly, I adore you, but you can be so childish.